Welcome back, everybody. 100 Proof Whitetails. Ben and Nate back on after a 1 week off. Life's been happening. We've been busy, rolling with the punches best we can. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of that tonight. But, yeah, so. Oh, boy. And, of course, tonight it poured on top of everything.
Pouring rain.
Yep. So, want to thank the sponsors of the podcast before we get rolling. In no particular order, just the order that they're queued up here in the um, sidebar. Busy Bee Chiropractic and Wellness, if you're looking up here. Busy Bee Chiropractic and Wellness, Newark, New York. Go see Dr. Britt for all of your chiropractic and wellness needs. They got the sauna and more in Newark, New York. Thank you, Dr. Britt and Busy Bee, for your continued support and keeping us going through deer season and beyond. M&R Firewood Services in Phelps, New York. They also have a roadside stand down past Smoking Pete's down Seneca Lake. Get a hold of them for all of your firewood for camp wood bundles, and they also do face cord sales. So hooked up a couple folks with face cords the other day. They said, "Hey, who's the sponsor on the podcast?" I was like, "I can hook you up with some firewood."
Hell
So
yeah.
gave them a call and said, "Hey, call these guys." So M&R Firewood, not just for your camp wood, but for wood to heat your home as well. Reach out to them today. Pierce Metalworks in Phelps, New York as well. Thank you, Nate, for your continued support of the show.
For all your machining and fabricating needs and prototyping.
Prototyping for, what we got? Tree stand arms, camera arms,
Fishing jigs.
fish and jig molds, you name it. And then custom stuff for like,
Anything.
you think of it up, he'll work it up, prototype, and get it rolling together for you. I want to thank Phelps Fire Department for helping us host our event not too long ago. Reach out to them for all of your like banquet activity kind of desires. They can do parties there, stuff like that. Got a little clubhouse, open space, kitchen for fundraisers. That's where I went and voted yesterday.
And if
So
your house is on fire in Phelps, they'll help you out.
yeah, exactly. So you got it. And then Heritage Outdoor Sports here in Phelps, New York as well. Thank you, Mike, Lou, and everybody over there at Heritage for keeping our bows shooting straight and helping us. Well, when the deer walk in front of you, you can kill them. I haven't been so lucky yet this year, but
It's that new Matthews.
it's the Matthews.
It's giving off weird vibe. Your whole what
my
is it?
aura.
Your gin and your aura is all thrown off out there.
Yeah,
It's all
my chi,
fudge.
my
Yeah,
chi's
your
all.
cheese all messed up because you're carried a Matthews now.
Yep, that could definitely be it. So.
Not as bad as a crossbow mix, but
Oh, that'll happen. I sent Nate a video the other day of a guy drinking a bottle of wine in a shower or something like that, and it was like, I haven't shot my target buck yet this year, but I've been Googling crossbows and contemplating life or whatever. So, and then finally, Whitetail Properties here at the Finger Lakes. We have our auction tomorrow, first auction in New York, down in Yates County. So we'll be doing that tomorrow, early afternoon. So head on out to that. I know Dad will be hunting, of course, with I think Joe's up in town. He's gonna get a rut hunt in. So I'm sure we'll talk about a lot of that on the show with what we've been seeing in the woods, what's been working to have deer come into range, and then what hasn't happened to get deer in the back of a truck, and how we can do better with that. So, Whitetail Properties for all of your buying and selling needs here in the Finger Lakes and beyond in New York and the rest of the country. Find a Whitetail Properties land specialist today, and let's start your land search today. Or if you're selling, let's find you a buyer. So, that's everybody.
there we are.
There we are.
Thanks, everybody.
So, Andy Hall comments in, good evening, guys.
What's going on, Andy?
100 proof
Nah.
listener that has gotten it done.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good. All the listeners,
got a
dude,
nice
have been knocking them down. You knocked one down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My dad almost knocked one down.
He's been out?
Yep. He got greedy though. We can talk about that. We can talk about Dad's story. That'd be a good one. Good one to break the ice with it. Which again, I get it, but I don't get it. But it happens. I mean, we've all been there, taking a shot we should have taken, and I just got a little big. So I guess that's a good starter topic for this one. So, Dad was hunting maybe a week ago now, I think. Something like that. So right on the verge of pre-rut there. And he's sitting on a food source in the evening and had a good buck, good 8-pointer come running across the field. And he got on him and it was quartering directly to him. So he knew not to take that shot. So then the deer kept moving and was still within range. So Dad got set up in the other window, get a shot on him. And he said, right when I was just getting ready to lean in on him, he's like, I got caught out of the corner of my eye. I saw another deer coming. And he's like, and then I could see a little bit of flash of white. So he's like, I'd already committed to shooting that first buck. He's like, but then I saw the one behind it. And he's like, my brain automatically thought it was a bigger one. And it wasn't. It was like a little 6.
Oh.
So he said, by the time I got off of that deer, glassed him quick, and then got back, he's like, I got down on the crossbow and I went to go line up on him. And he's like, he took his 2 steps and he was up in the woods, and out of the corner of the plot. So,
Do you know what deer it was?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, I think it's a split browed 8-point, is kind of the way he described it. I'm thinking that's him.
Hmm.
So, good buck, dude. Good solid buck, and obviously didn't shoot the 6-point out of spite after that. So, but I've been there, dude. I've been there with a buck coming in, pushing the doe into you, and then that little buck comes in and like pinballs it, and everything just wheels come off everything around you too,
Mm-hmm.
and you almost want to shoot that little 4-point out of spite. But you know, um, but yeah, dude. So I mean, I had an amazing morning. What would that have been? November 2nd, I want to say. Sunday morning when I went out. I think that was in the morning. I had a really good morning. The weather was perfect. Had the backside of that little front we had. Frosty.
It was a good morning.
Finally had a good west wind.
It was
Well,
a
that
lovely
was
morning.
it Sunday afternoon you had the good hunt?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Or no, Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. So it was the
Sunday
same morning?
Sunday morning.
Yeah. So it was good, dude. So with that, a lot of cruising. So right now, mornings, dude, I'm sitting between beddings, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually like getting in, to some of these spots that I haven't hunted all year. Really, I mean, the spot I went and hunted
Yeah,
Saturday was the first time in there all year.
yeah, this is some of the most rut activity I've seen
Oh yeah,
in my whole life, I think.
yeah. No, it's
Seems to be pretty heavy this year.
I haven't seen any hard chasing other than a couple small bucks. Um, but the 1 8-pointer I put up the story last night, um, he's busted up. I don't know. He also didn't give me a shot opportunity. He was cruising across the field after a couple does had came through. Um, he's got a broken G3, and I think he had a flyer point or something coming off the back. If it's the buck I think it is, and that was broke off. So, but dude, I mean, they're beating the snot out of each other right now. So that's kind of where I was gonna lean into this next thing is calling, dude, has been phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
the last week, really. Um, I grunted in a couple bucks. I snort wheezed in one of our shooters, and he was about 2 steps away from getting an arrow. He just took the wrong side of the tire pile up there by the dump. If he'd have committed and came into the plot there, I'd have shot him. You know, I think he was at 32 yards if he'd have broke the edge. But when he stepped out into the open, he had a bunch of brush over the top of him. So, and that's set up where they kind of come through the opposite way, but he came up the hill because he was down on the bottom. But I snort wheezed him in. After I tried to grunt him and I didn't turn him, um, I saw him posture up on a scrape and start working it over really heavy, so I snort wheezed at him. And he continued to thrash it, and I hit him again when he stopped after he'd done that, and he turned on a 180, dude, bristled right up, and did that slow march about 110 yards right into my lap, but no dice.
Couldn't get
So,
the shot.
yeah, couldn't get the shot. Got some video of him. Saw a couple of the other bucks that we know of. Saw the one I'm calling Hanson because he's got like a kind of deformed side, so I call it his strong hand side, like Hanson from Scary Movie, the guy
Oh,
that does
okay.
the mashed potatoes. So that's where I got. That's what I'm calling that buck is Hanson. Pretty sure he's a 3-year-old this year. Not a ton going on rack wise, but really cool buck. Um, so I saw him the morning of the first, and then I also saw him last night. So he's been up on his feet, and that's what 3-year-olds do, man. They go, they push does. So, um, but yeah, so yeah, the grunting's been pretty good. I've grunted in a few younger bucks, 2-year-olds and a 3-year-old. Um, yeah, since the last show, had an encounter with Mo. Didn't end up getting a shot at him. He was up in the brush. That was that one really windy night. I had to hang on to the tree for dear life. He was up and moving during that big storm that pushed through that night.
Mo?
Hank, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought the Three Stooges were dead.
Yep, sorry. Well, he's like a. That's why my brain's going to it because he was a Mo clone the year before Mo blew up. So, and it's the same age. Like if I have the sheds, I put them next to each other the other day, dude. You'd swear it was off the same deer. So if like this one lines up with his 4-year-old year, which when Mo jumped, he jumped from that 4 to 5. He put on like 30 inches that year. So, but again, if Hank walks in front of me at like sub 30 yards, he's probably gonna get shot. That's your man. That's your dude.
That's my guy. I like that buck.
So, um, and he says use that full body mount decoy.
Let him bring him in.
Yeah.
That day it probably would have.
Oh, dude, that would have. So the funny story about that buck. So the one shooter that I had the encounter with that I snort wheezed in, um, is my neighbor named him Terry Tate. And if you guys all remember back to the commercial, that's the office linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So he was having a hunt last year, um, and we were torn whether he was 3 or 4 last year. Kind of in that tweener size where he's real big body, but we're not quite sure because we don't have a ton of history with him, and he's not really that unique of a buck. He's a solid 8 point. So he came into the plot and bulldozed the decoy, blew the head off of it and everything. The pieces flying everywhere. So that's when my neighbor called him, Terry Tate, the office linebacker. So then we flash forward about another month later. The dude's eye gets gouged out. So now he's got a big blueberry for an eye. So he's completely blind in the one eye. So, and that was when I saw him the other morning. I put the binoculars on him because I had saw a tuning fork that morning. And kind of coming out of that bedding area, I thought his tuning fork kind of had made a loop and he was coming back out to go to the other bedding again. And I looked down and put the binocs on it because I could see it's pretty tall, just like kind of tuning fork is. Put the binoculars on him and I go, and he kind of turns in the sunlight down there in the bottom and I can see that big blueberry. And I'm like, oh, I know what deer that is. I was like, that's Terry Tate.
Terry Tate.
And yeah, I bet he would have blown the stuffing out of that full body, dude. The tricky part is finding a place where I can get that thing in and
That'd
get
be a
in
hike.
quietly.
That would be a hike.
Yeah, it's nice. He's got the metal rods you can stick his feet in and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I've never hunted over a buck decoy. I had like a foam doe decoy that I've put out before.
I've done that. It's never worked.
Yep.
I've
What
never
was
had it
what was
work.
the one that Jesse did that one time? Put the deer hide on the back of it, and what was
Fred.
he calling it? Fred.
Fred.
Oh,
Fred,
Fred.
the one-horned wonder.
Yep. So, but no, I've seen guys, dude, that have made it work. I think Andy said he's killed a deer over a decoy before. I think it's that doe decoy because he's got the full body doe match to that buck.
Probably.
I think it's the doe he put hunted over before. So it's legal. I mean, it's the right time to do it. They're all freaking torqued up right now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I had another buck that just got blinded within the last like week or so. Another 8 pointer. He's missing an eye now. Same side as Terry Tate actually. So we got a buck that's out there. Got a thing for left eyes. Apparently, he's collecting them.
It's got a mean left hook.
Yeah. Or would it be a right? Catch them in the left side of the face.
Yeah, right hook.
Yeah, got a mean right hook. So, yeah, it's
Works great.
yeah. So yeah, I gotta. Actually, that'd be kind of a cool picture to pull up. Let me see if I can pull that up quick. The one of that buck with his eye. Because, dude, it's. So I guess I'll preface this with keep your like your kids, your small children, don't. Yeah, there it is. Don't.
Is it that gory?
It's pretty gnarly.
Terry Tate?
No, Terry Tate's fine. Terry Tate's just like I said, looks like a big blueberry, dude. But this other buck is yeah, that was a buck I saw the other night, and I think he's got a broken flyer. Yep, he's looking fine. A little superficial hit. There it is.
It's all red.
Oh no, it's got a huge hole.
Holy.
All right, we're gonna make sure you got your small children and people that might be squeamish.
Squeamish.
Yeah, your squeamishness.
Nice buck, too.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. So
It looks way better on the computer. Or the other thing. Oh, yeah.
So
That's
I
where
had
the 22 nicked him.
yeah. So this buck, this is the day it happened. So I actually have a couple of this buck obviously coming in. Hit this little mock scrape where I've done one of the throwback videos of me and Nate doing stands. That's the mock scrape there
That's
that we
the
were
corner.
hanging.
That's one I pee in every year. I didn't do it this year.
What, up by Gravity? That's where that one is.
Oh, no.
That's the one that we were in the back of the gate, the back of the side by side,
The
hanging
east
it.
side, back by that.
Yeah.
That's one I pee in every year.
So here he is, just down the hill from that, 6:30 in the morning. So sometime between 6:30 and quarter after 12.
He had some debt to pay.
He got
He couldn't come up with it.
he got the old right hook treatment. Terry Tate got. Maybe Terry Tate's out there. He's going back for more eyes, dude.
Could be.
Yeah, but he's got top of it. You know, it's hanging out pretty good. So, but yeah, they're getting beat up. We're losing a couple tines here and there on a couple bucks. You know, broke twos,
You
threes.
guys always do, though.
Yeah, those 3-year-olds especially, dude. When they get a few lopers that come in like late October that come in that aren't like the full home bodies from the summer, we see a lot of stuff start to get broken.
The outsiders.
Yep.
Coming in, taking on the socias on the farm.
Yeah, we got
the greasers.
Yep. We got the gangs throwing down, man.
That's what they're doing.
But no, it's been good. Couple things, dude, that I was thinking that I think has hindered a little bit of success this year. I think, in my opinion, is I didn't do near the stand work that I typically do going into season. I mean, I checked them last minute kind of thing. But actually, the morning I was in here, at that spot where that buck was, it was I think the day or two after that maybe, or before that. The day before that, I was in there hunting, and yeah, because this is me that morning. But this is the buck that was right behind me that morning. Lucky was right behind me that morning at like 70 yards. The morning before. So maybe Lucky was the one that got him with the old right hook. I don't know.
So he followed your boot tracks in?
I came up the hill, and he kind of cut this backside. I think he came up out of that bedding area there. So, yeah.
Man, you went in broad daylight.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's you walking out.
That's me walking in.
Yeah.
And then that's me walking out.
Walking out.
Yeah.
So he followed you out.
No, he was between it. He was like 8:45. He was on his feet. And that's the other thing too, dude. Like when I'm sitting in the morning, because I've had Keith has been asking me questions and stuff. He's like, "When do you usually sit till in the mornings?" I'm like, with the clock change now, it changed a little bit, obviously, because it gets light an hour earlier. So like I'll usually sit till at least 10, but then if I'm seeing a deer still, I'll push that, like I call it my like half hour rule or 20-minute rule. Is if I see a deer, I'll sit for another 20 minutes or a half hour. I see more deer, I'll sit for another 20 minutes, a half hour. Kind of keep, like, if the deer are still moving, like, I'm not going to climb down unless I got to go somewhere, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a little morning strategy that I do. Um, so, yeah, it's done pretty good. I mean, we've talked about that before. I've killed a lot of bucks in the morning, after 9 o'clock, not first thing at daylight.
9, 10 o'clock
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
this time of year.
I think 10 and 2, we were saying before, is I've killed a lot between 10 and 2, in the pre-rut especially. Especially when you get those big cold snaps and they're out long lining and stuff like that coming back to.
I haven't hunted a ton midday. I would say like 11 to 2. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time.
We got to get out, get something to eat, maybe change stands,
I
because.
mean, I did that all day sit. That was brutal. Saw like one deer.
Hmm. I've
And then
never had a ton of luck with all dayers.
and then I'm usually out by I don't know 10:30. Honestly,
Yep. Yeah, I
especially
mean,
this time
it
of
just
year.
depends
You're
if.
going in at what 6?
Yeah, it's early.
Earlier than that, actually. You're going in at no, it'd be 6. 5:36. You're going in.
Yeah, because we're light at what, 7 now, give or take.
I think like 6:45 is sunrise. It's 6:15. It starts getting pretty light.
Yep. Sounds about right. Jeff Fox says, "Hey guys, how's it going? It's going. You know, just waiting on the right buck to make the right couple steps toward me."
Mm-hmm.
But yep. Um, Good night, Munchie says, "Hello from Dresden, Ontario, Canada. Our first Canadian, eh?
Hey.
Hey."
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. He said, "I seen a giant buck this morning walking Mojo, just trotting across the field. 10-pointer at least. I don't hunt anymore." Yeah, no, it's I almost cracked one the other morning when I was heading to Canandaigua. That was a pretty solid 8-pointer. I mean, he was probably that size of that one that we got with the gored out eye that we were just showing. Um, so real solid buck, I'd say probably 115, 120 maybe, kind of in that ballpark. But yeah, it's getting to be they're getting that zombie walk to them. You know, you'll be seeing them and they'll just be walking. You know.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place now. I had one running up and down the side of my house, well, my yard yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
He was out in that cut bean field, just like running in circles, like he lost his mind.
Must have been a deer bedded up in your little barns up there.
Could be, or a hedgerow or something. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what he's doing. It wasn't a very big buck. I mean, he was like a basket rack something. But
Sure.
I was sitting there watching. I'm like, what the hell is this guy's issue? Looked
Yeah.
like he wanted to cross the road, but he didn't dare cross the road.
Yeah. But no, they're this is where you see them do the stupid stuff, dude. Middle of the day, they come off of a doe, especially now too, man. If you get one that breaks off of that doe, you could catch a buck that's a non homebody that's starting to come into these spots where you got all these does coming in that just comes in during this 1 week of November or something like that. We hear a lot of guys talk that you know he only comes around. I've only gotten a couple pictures of him. Well, he's probably not like a homebody necessarily. He's a buck that doesn't typically live on your piece, but he'll come you know scout some does on your piece.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a couple off here and there. So. I'd really lean on historic data right now for November for knowing when these certain doe groups cycle in. Um, and just getting in on tight to him. What's that?
Jeff's girlfriend.
Oh, yep, that is Jeff's girlfriend. Andy's sending us pictures.
That's
Oh,
that's that's Jolene.
yeah, Jolene.
Jolene.
Yeah,
Jolene.
yeah,
Jolene and Jeff.
yeah. Good night, Munchie said I got old. That's why he doesn't hunt anymore. And then he says, I watch a lot of live stream deer hunting videos. Rattling antlers work great. Yeah, so Nate's got a little rattle story from the first, right? You were out the first, morning of the first,
Morning on the first.
November 1st.
Yeah, no. No, this was Sunday, the 3rd. Was it Sunday the 3rd?
Monday was the 3rd.
So the 2nd.
2nd.
Yeah. So Sunday morning, went out with my brother-in-law, and he's a fairly inexperienced bow hunter, but he's been getting a little more into it the past couple years. And seeing I already punched my tags, I was itching to get out there and do something. So I've been calling you, calling Jesse, and Ian said he wanted to go out, so I went out there and said, yeah, I said, I'll just put my climber above you and film or whatever. So we get up there, and I brought my rattling antlers and grunt call and stuff. So we went out to this picker spot, we met up. We probably got out there a little later than I would like, but that's just typical me. On every morning I hunt. So, but either way,
the bed just feels so good, man.
So we got out there, probably around 6 o'clock. We were probably all set up by 6:20. Getting the climber up there. The strap was broke on the tree stand, so I had to double square knot it because the hook broke.
Okay, yeah.
The hook broke.
I've seen that happen
So
before.
I double square knotted it and just tightened it back up to get us through the morning. And got the climber hung up, sat down. Ian said there was 3 doe milling around over, because we were hunting by some really good bedding, like super thick bedding.
Got a little bit of oak there.
A lot of oak on that property. But yeah, we get up there. He saw those 3 doe. I couldn't see him. And about 9 o'clock rolled around, and we hadn't seen anything besides those 3 doe in the morning. So I leaned down. I told him, I was like, "Hey," I said, "I'm around 9:15. I'm gonna rattle." I said, "and then we're gonna hang out till about 10 o'clock. And if nothing happens by 10 o'clock, we're out of here." So I did my rattling thing around 9:10, 9:15, and about 10 minutes later, I seen a buck coming up through the bedding area. So I let him know. Let him get ready, grab his bow, blah blah. It was a nice buck. He was pretty cool. The points or his main beams came around, and I bet you they were probably within an inch of touching each other. Those points. That was pretty cool. And he came marched right into about 15 yards, and Ian couldn't get a shot because the deer was kind of facing him. And then a couple minutes went by, and another buck started coming up the same trail or same path this one did. So I'm telling him, I was like, another one. And this one was a little bigger bodied deer, wider rack. I think like he had, I don't know, he might have been 8 or 10. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
But he was another solid buck. I think both these bucks probably would have scored around 120. But that one came right in, and then the first one got to about 7 yards, and Ian, I think, was hoping for a shot on the second one, and the second one, I guess, didn't give him a shot or whatever, and the first one crossed our boot tracks, got a little spooked, and they bounded off. So kind of a disappointing end to that, but it was kind of a cool experience. A couple things came into play, a little him being behind the trigger and being inexperienced, maybe not being 100% confident in his bow. Maybe he hadn't shot it enough. I mean, there was some holes in there that probably could have angled, and like you or me
could have threaded one in there.
You probably could have threaded one in there, but it also goes back to lack of prep work in the off season. If you don't get that prep work done, you're going to run into these situations, and then you're going to be kicking yourself. So it's everything you do, all the work you put in is only stacking that deck of cards a little more in your favor.
Yep.
And the more cards you can have in your deck by the time season rolls around, the higher and better your chances are of success. And you know, he had a busy summer. I had a busy summer. Usually I would have gone out there and did a little trimming or whatever. But to me, with everything I had going on, I didn't. I kind of
Machine
left it up.
shop up and running. I mean,
I
yeah.
left it up to him. But he got married this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and they were doing their wedding at their house. They had a lot going on, but
Yep.
I'm sure. And he was shaking pretty good. He said he was still feeling it like 2 hours after. Because
Oh yeah, dude.
after they bounded off, because he's never. I don't think he's ever experienced anything quite like that with deer that close and just like
Good
have
bucks
no
right in your
idea.
face. Yeah.
They have no idea that you're around for like 3 to 4 minutes, maybe
Yep.
five
They're
minutes,
looking for a deer. They have no clue
and they're
that they're
just
like
milling
cautious
around
or
you they were, as far as I'm concerned, they were
they're
big
all
bucks.
solid bucks.
I
Yep.
sent you the
100%.
video. They were good.
Mm-hmm.
They were both shooters, if you ask me.
Yep.
So it was a cool experience. Hopefully it was a cool experience for Ian. Hopefully a little bit of a learning experience for him as he's kind of starting his hunting journey with the bow.
Yep.
I'm sure he won't forget to trim that stand next year.
I bet you not. I bet he went out there that night and trimmed it.
Probably cut the fucker down.
Yeah, cut the whole
It's
tree
probably
down.
a parking lot out there right now. I'd be like, no.
There's no cover at all anymore in front of it. It's just all cut down. It's all fresh cut branches.
But yeah, that was. I mean, that was cool.
Yep.
And then they bounded off, and I had enough after that. I was done. I was like, all right, we're getting out of here. I already sat here for 4 hours.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
But we went out that afternoon. Same property, other side of the property. The morning we hunted the north end. The afternoon we hunted the south end, and saw a couple does, little 6 point. Rattled in that 6 point again, like you were saying, calling.
Yep.
You had success with grunting and snort wheezing, but you physically saw the deer,
And I could watch how he reacted.
and you did it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had very with young bucks. I've had luck with grunting them in. Never a mature buck.
Mm-hmm.
I've blind rattled bucks in quite a bit.
Yeah.
A
So
lot,
I'm just trying to
actually.
think. Bud. I grunted Bud in.
Give me one of these.
Yep. I grunted Bud in, and then I rattled my biggest buck ever I've rattled in. The big 10 up there. I rattled him in, and then look at
Thank you.
that. He was with a doe. I guess I've only really called 2 bucks in, dude. Oh no, and then that one my first uh, my video bow buck. I called him in. I grunted and then bleat canned him in. So I've done a little bit of everything, but I've only killed like 2 or I guess 3 from calling.
Luck with that bleat can.
I mean I've bleated in deer.
Every
You know.
time I've used that bleat can, they bolt the other way. I threw mine out.
Yeah, maybe they've heard other people tipping the can to them.
I could never get it right. It was always like,
Kind of billy goating at him.
would always get caught or something. I'm like, screw this thing.
Yep. So, I always liked like not the big can, the one that's like the size of a fucking beer can. I like I think it's the original.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, but not the mini or whatever. Because they had like a mini, they had like a big can.
Yeah.
Just the original one, the one that's like
That's the one.
size of like a shot glass. Yeah, that was the
I
one
like
I've
walking
always.
around the house playing with them.
Yeah.
More than I ever used it. Yeah. More than I ever used them out in the woods.
Yep. But grunting, I mean, and it's your cadence with the grunt. Like, you do like the ticks, like, and you just listen to how deer sound when they grunt. It's usually when they're walking, or it's when they're pushing that extra air out, kind of deal. If they're trotting behind a doe, that's when they're grunt. Or
If the
if they're
deer
communicating with another deer, is when you hear it too. And I've heard way more fawn and doe bleating this year, I think, than. I mean, that night you were with me, we heard them talking all night.
that fawn bleat at its mom or its
whatever, yeah.
sibling or whatever. That was the first time I ever heard a fawn like that crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, because, well, that deer was like right under us.
Yeah, sure.
And did a couple of bleeds, went over to mom, started suckling on a teat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, so.
Should have smacked the milk off its lips.
Put a missile through mom.
Yep.
I actually think that, that was a doe fawn that was with that doe though, right? It wasn't a button buck.
I don't think either of them were. I think there was 2 fawns with it.
I think they were
I think they were both
doe fawns with that doe.
I believe so.
Because I
I
had
think we only saw 1 button buck.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So I sat at that stand again the other night. That was where I saw Hanson and that other buck. And a doe and a doe fawn came and ate under that fucking pear tree again.
Should have shot her. Hanson would have came over and sniffed her.
Probably.
Could have shot him.
Probably. And then I saw Squiggles, that frickin' 2-year-old I keep seeing over there. Andy says, what do you use to rattle? I've used real antlers. Biggest buck I rattle in. I've rattled in a lot of broken rack bucks actually that I've let slide, let go because they were broken up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, typically I've used that, or I have a black rack that I use just because it's easier to conceal and I can pack it in my pack a lot better. But Nate's over here. He's going to give you a down and dirty example of his rattling.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to actually rattle to them, but about the size of the ones I use.
I think like 110s, dude, are like perfect for what we have here in this area. You don't want like a big heavy set. Like you want them to be, I don't know what
Like,
you want to call it, kind of tingy.
Have you ever seen that guy walking through the woods to his stand and he's got like half of a 150 drooped over his shoulder and he's going in there to rattle? Like, did you buy them on freaking Marketplace or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to cut the brow tines off like a rattling set.
That's what I do. I cut the brow tines off, wrap the bases with electrical tape, and that.
Yep. Pop them and click them. It's a lot
Right
more
around
popping
the-
and clicking than like smashing them back and forth. Because really, if you've had 2 bucks fight in front of you, you've been lucky enough to see that. Like once they're locked up, dude, it's more popping and clicking between the antlers.
Yeah, you kind of. I guess what's worked best for me was actually just pushing pretty much as hard as you can against each other.
And that's where the brow tines not being on there comes in huge.
Yeah, because you're gonna smash your fingers, but you want to kind of mimic that force the best you can of those 2 animals pushing against each other, and then you just kind of, grind them together and make them.
Get that pop and that click and those tines hitting.
And just kind of grind them together and make it pop and click.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. No, there's a couple over there that probably make good rattlers. The one thing that I usually do too when I get them, and that's what I like about the black rack, is you can pop and click on both tops and bottoms. So you don't just have like 3 or 4 points working together. You got like 6, really. But once you get them together. Mm-hmm. But the big thing is those brow tines. That's a must, dude. Is cut those freaking brow tines off because you're gonna clip your fingers when you do that. The only other thing I do is I give them like a tap too across the back before I get going with them, and then so. But
And I've never actually had success rubbing them on a tree.
No.
Raking them on the ground.
Rolling around like a squirrel.
I seen a guy.
The guys in Texas, dude, go freaking all out.
Down the tree, rattle like a madman, start rolling around on the ground and all the leaves to make up a bunch of noise. Then he'd hop back up and run straight back up the tree stand and sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy.
Yep.
This just seems excessive.
No, but I know the guys in Texas do a lot of rattling like that. But if you've ever heard like 2 solid, like 100, 110-inch bucks goes together, it's a bigger age class. And it's flat.
I'll say Texas is flat and it's all brush. I mean, you're not really woods hunting.
Yep. It's different.
At
But
least
if you've
from what
ever,
I've seen, I've never actually been there.
yeah, if you've ever had like 200-inch, 100, 120-inch bucks going at each other, like it makes a lot of freaking noise, dude. Like even a couple little bucks pushing each other around in like the hardwoods and crisp leaves, it makes a lot of noise,
Hmm.
But um, yeah, the big thing that I do with the rattling too is I typically don't rattle longer than 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say I'm about
Oh,
yeah
yeah.
20 seconds, half a minute.
Yeah, that's I don't like going longer than that. And usually before I rattle, I'll do a couple soft grunts first.
Then
That way,
I
if there's anything like in the immediate vicinity, I kind of do that, wait 5 minutes, and then I'll really soft grunts, and then I'll do a little rattling sequence or something. Kind of
and
paint the
then
picture.
intervals of rattling. I would say every half hour, every 45 minutes.
If you're calling, yep. The other things I like to do is try to have a like an open field or a pond or something behind you where they can't cut your wind. Um, I've noticed that with rattling, they'll cut downwind, they'll circle you, grunting, they'll circle you. But for snort wheezing, they typically don't. Because if you have a
Uh,
buck that's that aggressive on,
yeah.
they're coming straight on. Like there's
If
no,
you snore wheeze is like your last resort.
that's the ultimate aggressive call. Like that's the most, because bucks will tickle antlers, from velvet up till the day they lose them. Really, they'll be sparring, not knockdown drag out fights, but they'll be sparring throughout the season. So that's not that an aggressive call.
I mean, snore wheeze is like a Hail Mary move.
Oh, that's like that deer is aggressive or upper on the maturity
If
train.
nothing else is working, you just throw the snort wheeze out there. That's the snort wheeze.
Well, like I said, I grunted a couple times at Terry Tate, and he didn't respond to it really. He kind of stopped a couple times. He kind of looked back, but that was it. And then the snort wheeze was almost like, and this is just watching other deer interact or whatever in the past, but watching deer that were like scraping and then hearing them snort wheeze at each other or whatnot, is typically after a move like a scrape, or if they see another deer with a doe or something like that, like it's an aggressive advancing call, and that's where I'd use that snort wheeze after he stopped and made that scrape. If he was just walking away and I snort wheezed at him, there's nothing to instigate that. But what I wanted to paint in his head was there's a deer on top of that ridge. He hears you making that scrape or sees you making that scrape. Now he's aggravated and agitated at you to try to pull him up the hill, which it worked. And then if I had my crossbow, Nate, I could have just threaded the needle on him maybe.
Yeah,
But
crossbow would have got him.
yeah, but Hoyt probably would have snuck it in there too.
Did you sell that yet?
Yeah, I did.
That's too bad.
I did.
Did you sell the Matthews?
I even tried, dude. I even did that. I did that draw in the squat. Trying to find a window. When you're at full draw, you try to do that little squat in the stand.
It's much easier threading the needle when the brush is farther away.
Mm-hmm.
Because then your arrow's more on your pin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, trying to thread the needle with
stuff in
brush
front of
that's
you, they
like
gotta go. Yep.
5 to 10 yards in front of you,
Yeah.
your arrow's not on your pin.
Yep. Forget about it. Still
You gotta
rising.
think that arrow's leaving about 6 to 7 inches lower than your pin.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and it's coming up. So, no, it's definitely, dude, getting good. I'm hoping to get out for a short hunt tomorrow, like I said, before the auction in the afternoon. Then, like I said, Dad and Joe will be out tomorrow afternoon. Friday morning, I'm hunting. And then Saturday, Sunday looks pretty good, too. Um, right now, I'm pushing chips for morning. Like, that's my favorite.
Tomorrow's gonna be killer.
Yeah, I think so. Right after this rain front blowing through tonight, coming around southwest wind.
That, it's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna get good. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow.
Yep. I
Tuesday,
think this morning would have been pretty good too.
Tuesday was another really good day.
Coming up.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, we had a little touch of frost. What was it? Monday, too. So yeah. And then I know we've been nobody's wanting to say the words, but we might get a couple flakes next week. They're saying.
Oh yeah, it's next week's gonna be down in the freezing.
Highs 40s and then maybe in the 20s. So plots are pretty much going to be going into night mode for the plants to have an active growing,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So whatever they have, if you have good, grow trees on it. The one plot I slipped into tonight for a quick little hunt before I got poured on and just turned it into a trail cam pull little loop. Went kind of long way out and pulled a couple cards. Um, was well, the Braskas are looking phenomenal in that one, but we haven't really had a good hard frost to shut them down completely. So, but when we get down in like the 20s that they're saying, mid to low 20s, it's gonna stop them or kill them basically, for some of the varieties. But
The bulbs keep going though.
yeah, they'll still eat the bulbs, but the greens they're done like actively putting on growth kind of deal.
Yeah.
But we've had good temperate weather. We've had some good rains. Um, you know, they're turning out pretty good. Yeah, big thing is just unpressured food, whatever it is. A lot of the corn's down already. Even the stuff that isn't cut for silage corn, I've seen guys actually combining.
Mm-hmm.
You know, beans are pretty much all done. I've only seen one or two fields of beans left. They're pretty much all combined off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so crops coming off. Hay fields pretty much have, at this point, I would assume have had their last cutting for the year.
Yeah.
Usually not going to cut them this late.
Corn's about the last thing, really.
Mm-hmm. For standing crop. So, um, but yeah, no, I've been, and then like you said, you get on a stand, you start seeing stuff or watching deer move or whatever. My brain's already like moving for next year and years coming up on what to do for stuff. Where it can make improvements or why this spot used to be better. I feel than it is now because of certain things. A couple of them need to move. I think a little bit, from where they're at, just kind of because the way stuff's kind of developed or changed. So, um, but yeah, it's been this is it, man. This is like we call it. I call it Sweet November. I think that's a Drury term.
Could be.
I think that's something I picked up from watching the Drurys
Sounds
years
like a
ago.
jury
Yep,
jury thing.
Sweet November. Um, but good night, Munchie said I shot a 6 point buck 6 yards away, hunting from the ground. Heard it coming, came to full draw, smashed him. It didn't even have time to get excited. Yeah, I mean, dude, I've had ones that I watched for a half hour, and then I've had other ones where, like you said, they're right on top of you, and there's no time to, you know, get excited really. I mean, my bow buck last year was like that. Dono was like that last year. I'm trying to think.
This time of year, you got to make a decision quick. You
Unless
gonna
you can
shoot them or
see,
you're not?
yeah, unless you can see them coming like through the timber or something, you know. But a lot of times, especially if they're with a doe or pushing a doe with a couple other bucks or something, yeah, it might not be a chance even to get the binos up on them. Sometimes they're coming and it's buck, good buck, third buck. Don't. I've done that, before.
Mm-hmm.
I've had bucks coming through that I've had to yell at them to try to stop them, and they don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, but no, it's definitely a good time. And then, like I said, dude, I lean on historic data. Like I'm looking at where I'm gonna be based on where we had good chasing, or where we had good conditions, years prior, and that's what I push chips on right now is what the historic data says because the does are cycling you know the same year after year. So um, that's how I hunt it. But it's actually it's getting to be what it's gonna be the 6th tomorrow.
7th.
6th. Today's the 5th.
You sure?
5th. Right there.
Sure.
So
I'm a day ahead.
yeah. But no, so I'll look back at bucks I had on camera, stuff like that. I got them all pulled out. I'll look at the different farms and see what was hot. The third last year was hot, but we had a big front that day. and that was the day I killed 6-pack last year. So
Tomorrow morning.
yeah, I think tomorrow morning will be a good one. I really do. After this rain blows through tonight and stuff, we got the tail end of the beaver moon.
Beaver moon.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the beaver moon.
Beaver moon.
I'm not a big moon guy. You put a lot of stock in the moon?
No.
Okay.
I like the names of it.
Yeah.
I like reading about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't read my horoscope in relation to the beaver moon though.
I just go by time of year and weather. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm same dude. It's
You do more of the historical stuff than me.
on the fronts.
I just
yeah.
kind of hunt the weather based on the time of year and how I should hunt it.
Yeah. And what the stand is related to and stuff like that. Like I'm not gonna go.
You ever clean your ears with one of these?
No, I haven't. Don't push too far. You'll be rupturing your eardrum.
Yeah. You ever use one of them camera things to clean your ears? You ever seen them?
I've seen them, but I never
Liza's
used
got them. They're pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm sure mine would be fucking disgusting.
They wouldn't after you cleaned it out.
Probably not. Probably be better. But no, it's
I think I had that thing. I'd stick it up my nose, through my beard.
clean
You
everything.
want to see something that's kind of gross looking? Is
Your skin under your beard.
like just looking at like the hair follicles where they.
Oh, like the fine camera.
Because this zooms right in on it.
Sure. Sure. Well, that's the other thing, dude. Too. I was out doing a pre-closing inspection the other day. Frickin' ticks, dude. I swear they get worse and worse every frickin' year.
Yeah, got them on the dogs a lot.
Yep. So
I mean, not in them, but on them.
yeah. So
They
that's
keep them treated
you know,
good, but
that's the big thing too that I like is if you can having your trails to your stands trimmed up so you're not brushing as much brush and stuff.
it's
And then
quieter. It's
yep,
nicer.
and just quieter. Yep, easier going. The one thing I will say is if you can get out and get your trails brush hogged like in August rather than like September before the goldenrod starts getting real stalky and stemmy.
Mm-hmm.
If the stuff you brush hog, you can get on it in August and then maybe get it another one like right before beginning of October. You won't have that like you're trying to be quiet walking on, your mode path and you hit like that goldenrod stubble and it goes like snap or pop,
Like walking across the
bunch of
cut
pop rocks.
bean field.
Oh, a freaking cut bean field is horrible, dude. Well, actually, it was funny. One of the mornings that I called that one buck in, I walked across a heavy frosted bean field, so it was like ice
Crunch.
with the frickin'.
Crunch.
I have no idea, dude, how the hell I saw a bunch of deer that morning and like didn't bump. I probably did bump deer, but like it was so loud, dude.
It's like the words of the late great Jesse Festa. We're not hunting the deer that are here. We're hunting the deer that are coming here.
Depends. Sometimes, sometimes I'm after that long line and stranger buck, 100%.
That's so if you ever bump a bunch of deer out and you're bummed that you ruined your hunt, just say that to yourself. It'll make you feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll still hunt. There's deer coming there.
Yeah.
There was deer there. Yeah, you fucked it up.
It happens.
There's still
dude.
deer coming there. Just hang out.
I've actually some of my best hunts, dude, are ones that I bump deer. Not saying I go
At
intentionally.
least you know there's deer there.
Yeah, not intentionally.
around.
Not intentionally going into bump deer. Because that's never, unless you're we're pushing them or something. But I've never intentionally gone in there to try to bump deer. But I've also had good hunts where I bump deer on the way in and I go, well, this freaking stinks, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, there's deer. There's more deer. Okay, cool. Boom, shoot a buck or boom, shoot a doe or whatever. Sometimes it's, I've done that especially with does late season, pushed them off of food, getting onto it, um, because it's unpressured or whatever, and then half hour later they're coming back off the bedding you pushed them up into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Late season with food you can get away with a little bit more sin like that.
They usually don't go far.
And right now too, as long as they don't blow. Like if you just like wind bump them or something and they don't blow, or they just scent bump you, or even just hear you and bump and they don't blow. Like there's deer running all over the woods right now. So like unless the deer is blowing at me, I really don't mind this time of the year pushing some deer around either. You know,
Yeah, pushing
as
deer
I'm
around,
as I'm
or
get as I'm getting
honestly
in and out.
making noise.
Sure, but that's the other thing is, and I've talked.
That's also a different style of hunting depending on the time of year
Hmm.
and what you can get away with versus early or late.
Sure, sure. Well, the other thing I'll do is I'll and I've said this before. Walk like a deer, talk like a turkey. I've talked about that before, where I kind of change my footstep cadence, so it sounds more like like the deer kind of shuffle. And how I'll do that is I'll like scuff, or I'll like pull my boot and scuff back as I step, so it gives it that kind of sound. Um, and then if I'm walking in wide open hardwoods for if I'm walking in like midday for an afternoon sit, I might stop, bring my mouth call, yelp, scratching the leaves, walk a little bit. Because if you've ever heard like a flock of turkeys coming through the woods,
They're loud.
it's so loud, dude.
They make a lot of noise.
Yeah, so yeah, I like I said, I've tried to walk like a deer, talk like a turkey if I can. Obviously, the turkey at night or in the morning doesn't really work, so that's where I lean more on, um, walking in a little earlier, or depending on the spot, a little later in the morning. It kind of all depends on where you're sitting. Sometimes it's almost better to get in at a little after sunrise than it is to be in there half hour before sunrise.
Hmm.
Especially if you're trying to play a thermal or something like that. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different little tips and strategies. I'm surprised we didn't get a few more comments and questions, but um, I know we got to get back on the board. We've had a couple folks reach out to us about us not doing the weekly shows, so we got to try to get a little bit better on that to you know keep the conversation going for folks and kind of give the real time updates and stuff like that. But um, we're 10 days, dude, from opening day of gun season.
Hmm.
So that's coming. Um, I might try to, bring my guns one of these days midday to go try to shoot.
Yeah, I'd really like to shoot my rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe this weekend I can get around to it.
But that's the other thing, dude. I'm looking at the wind for like the next 7 days, dude. There's not a day where it's like under 10 miles an hour. Like it
Hmm.
looks like it's gonna be, which is good. I would prefer it almost having some wind with it, dude, because we have not been getting as good a consistent winds as I would have been liking this year.
Hmm.
So, and usually that comes with like the 8 or 10 mile per hour, good stabilization off the backside of a front or leading up to a front. You know, right in the middle of it, like tonight was a little bit. Actually, it wasn't even that switchy. It was like good southwest for where I was all night, and then it just fucking rained. Like that was not enjoyable. So, yep. But all right, hit the hour mark, dude.
Right on the money.
What else we got? Anything else for
I
the
don't think
show?
so. I'm ready for gun season.
Yeah, I'm ready to freaking knock one down with the gun too, no doubt. So, yep. Well, if you guys are still out there cranking with the ball, I'd say stick with it, dude. We got some good days coming. Got some good frost and maybe even a little bit of snow coming before gun season. So, yeah, don't be afraid to pick up a little call. You know, hunt smart, hunt some of your better spots. This is the time of year to go hunt them if you got the wind and conditions to get into them.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to be doing. I got to figure out what I got for a little bit of 1 year history and kind of what I've also been seeing for recent activity for where some doe groups are and see what I can come up with for morning, dude. So that's where I'm at with it. And then I don't know what you got going this weekend, but I wouldn't mind getting in a tree with you.
Yeah.
Because
Saturday I'm busy Saturday.
gotcha.
Maybe Sunday.
Okay, gotcha.
Get out there and do a little filming.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Andy.
So, all right, Andy, thank you, and
Congrats.
yeah, congrats on knocking down a good one. You and Nate can get it done. I can't. So, all right, guys. We'll do a last minute sign out. Thank you to the sponsors. We'll give them a quick little mention shout out because I still haven't. I apologize. I haven't gotten around to getting the outro done all the way. Busy Bee Chiropractic and Wellness in Newark, New York. Thank you, Dr. Britt, for all of your chiropractic and wellness needs. Go see Dr. Britt and Busy Bee in Newark. M&R Firewood Services in Phelps, New York. They don't just do camp wood. They do smoking wood and face cord deliveries as well for heating your home during these winter months. Pierce Metalworks for all of your machining, fabricating, prototyping, you name it.
Metalworking, let me know.
Anything. Repairs,
Repairs.
yep, you name it. Phelps Fire Hall, where you can go vote if you're in Phelps. Also has a place for like a venue for events, parties, get-togethers, and stuff like that. Got a nice little clubhouse there too. So reach out to Phelps Fire if that's something that interests you. And thanks for them for supporting us. Heritage Outdoor Sports, Mike, Lou, and all those guys keeping us shooting good, and keeping everybody on target this fall. So I've actually scored a couple deer for the big buck contest. I got to get yours scored. Let me get it back. Yep, waiting for that to come back from the.
I'm sure I'll get a call here soon.
Yep. So thank you, Heritage, and then Whitetail Properties of the Finger Lakes. We'll be doing our first ever auction in New York tomorrow. So down in Yates County, doing a big 500-acre piece of property farm down there. So should be a good one.
500.
Yep. And just want to say they killed a giant buck out there this year. Just saying. Killed a couple good ones on that farm in the last couple years. So there's some good ones out there.
Not as big as that one in Monroe.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's a heck of a buck, dude. Heck of a buck. So, alrighty, guys. Well, good luck. Be safe. Shoot straight if you're still out there grinding, and it could change in an instant, dude.
Only takes 5 minutes.
Only
Not
takes
even. 30 seconds.
Yep, and your whole season can turn right around. So, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to 100 Proof Whitetails. We'll catch y'all next time.
See ya.